So all these cards are zero annual fee cards. So you don't have to worry about paying an annual fee for any of these. Um, some of these may have fees. Do your own research for that. I ain't go through that in this video, but like I said, do your research and make sure you know what you're getting yourself into before you get any of these cards, because I don't want you guys to go in, get this card next month, and then 15 months later, you talking about, hey, I'm $20,000 in debt, and this 23% interest rate just kicked in, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. Yo, what's goody, Latrell in the hoodie, and welcome to another episode of the Brother Next Door podcast, where we talk about finance, personal development, and skills to get you further in life through actual steps and my own personal experiences. In this episode, we're talking about credit cards, family. We are talking about credit cards. See, if you are irresponsible, if you are thousands upon thousands of dollars in credit card debt, this ain't the episode. I'm sorry. Look, I want the view, I want the watch time too, but this is not the episode for you. First and foremost, we want to be financially responsible here at the Brother Next Door. You know, I'm welcoming you in. You know what I'm saying? And here we got a couple house rules. First rule is we got to be financially responsible. And so if you struggle with credit cards, then this episode is not for you. I love you. I appreciate you showing up. Hey, go watch another episode, family. Or, let's get this credit right. Let's pay off this debt, and then we can come back to this episode. But this is for the people that are looking to get into credit cards, people who haven't gotten a credit card yet, people just, getting into college or whatever the case may be, and they like, hey, I want my first credit card. Where should I start? I got you, fam. I'm going to go through my credit card journey from the first credit card I got to the most recent credit card I got. I'm going to talk about the credit increases I've received, the credit limit I got at the very beginning, and then my credit limit as of now. I'm going to talk about, like I said, the credit limit increases along the way. I'm going to talk about how I built my credit fast. And last but not least, I'm going to talk about how my mindset changed about credit cards over the past 4 years. So let's get into it. Why did I get credit cards to begin with? To build my credit. That was my sole reason or not my sole reason, but that was one of the big reasons I got credit cards, was to build my credit. Everybody's talking about build your credit, do this, do that. Like, all right, let's do it with the credit card, right? I'm not about to take out a car loan at 18 or take out a house mortgage. Like, I'm not doing any of that. So next best thing is a credit card in my young 18-year-old mind, right? And so starting off, and I didn't get a credit card at 18. It was actually 19, or it was actually 20. So the first credit card I got, right, was the Discover It student. And so understand, I initially applied for a Chase credit card, and I bank with them. I've been rocking with them since high school, and they still denied your boy. I was like, where's the loyalty? Where's the love? Like, I've been rocking with y'all for 4 years, being on, not being on time, but using y'all for my debit and savings and doing all this stuff, and that's how you treat me. And so back in 2019, I actually went into the branch, I applied and got denied. And so that was my first taste of just hurt of being denied credit. And so I came back, better than ever. Back in 2020, in March, I applied for the Discover It student. Now, understand, in my opinion, if you have a fresh slate, you don't have any, inquiry or, negative things on your credit report, I believe this is the route to go. Now, that's not to say that you can't get accepted, but I feel like this is the easiest card to get accepted, especially for new people, especially for students, college students, all the great, or even college age students. That you don't necessarily have to be in college, but they reward you for good grades and different stuff like that. And so understand, this is a great student card because they know that you don't have a lot of credit history yet. And so they're more likely to accept you and, give you that opportunity to build your credit. So understand, March 2020, I got my first credit card. It was the Discover It, and it was a $500 credit limit. There's not much you can do with $500. Back then, you could do a little bit more than here in 2024, but there's very little you could buy with a $500 credit limit. I was on top of it. I wasn't playing. I didn't see that as free money. I took it very serious. So what I did, I was big into McDonald's coffee. So I went to McDonald's, I got my coffee, and that's all I used. That's all I used that card for. So I'd go get a coffee or get a meal, whatever, one time, and that would be the only purchase I'd make for that whole month until the statement closed. And that was before, I learned the little workarounds, learned little tricks, learned little different things like that, like paying it early. That's before I learned all that. All I knew was before that statement close date, it better not be more than $5 on that card. And so that was my mindset was, hey, let's do this responsibly. Let's keep it below 3% utilization and let's just build this credit. And by me being very diligent in doing that, my credit limit increased very fast. Now, or it didn't increase very fast, but it increased a decent amount. Now it's at 1,700. And so that's over double within the past 4 years. And understand all these credit cards I have and have gotten, I've applied with making, I don't know, like I think the max I made at that time was like 30,000. And so understand these credit limits are based off, $1,000 a month income, and then getting my first big boy job, and then throughout I think 2022 making 30,000 within that year, and all that good stuff. So understand most of these applications I was only working as an RA and donating plasma, so I was only bringing in $1,000 a month, family. So understand, even with a low income, you can still get approved for all these cards because I did, family. And so understand with the Discover It, you get 5% back at different places each quarter. So this is a rotating quarterly card. So every quarter of the year, it's a different place or different thing. So like one quarter it may be gas and EV charging. The next quarter it may be home improvement. The next quarter it may be restaurants. The next quarter it may be whatever. And so understand it changes based off each quarter, which you can get 5% back on. And everything else is worth 1% cash back. Understand the benefit of getting this card is you get unlimited cash back within your first year. So you get the card in January. By next January, however much cash back you receive, whether it's 5% back, 1% back, whatever it may be, at the end of that year, however much you've gotten within cash back wise, they will match that. So if you get $100 cash back, they'll give you another $100. And so that's a great benefit. If you are getting the card for the first time, you get that opportunity. Now that doesn't mean run it up. It's not, you still have to pay the card off, family, and understand it's only 5% back or 1% back. So don't run it up just to get 100%, because it's not going to be as much as you think at the end of the day. So take that into consideration. You can also redeem however you want. That's what I like about this card. You can redeem it for statement credits. You can redeem it for cash back, in your bank account. You can redeem it for a whole bunch of other things. But that's another benefit. And then free overnight shipping for card replacement. So if you lose your card, or say somebody's committing fraud on your card, somebody stole your card, you can cancel that and then report it. And then the next day, they're going to send you another card. So you're not going to be too long without another credit card. Next is the Chase card. And so with the Chase, hold on, y'all. My bad. Chase Freedom Flex. I should have wrote the name of it. The Chase Freedom Flex card is the same idea as the Discover card. So with the Chase, the only difference is with Chase. But the sometimes they line up with each other. And so sometimes the Chase and the Discover It will have the same quarterly 5% back uh, cash back areas. And so both may be gas, both may be EV charging, both may be Walmart or just grocery stores in general. But most of the time, they've been different. And so, I'll use Chase for one thing and then use Discover It for another each quarter. And so, next, the better thing about Chase is they offer more cash back in other categories. So, with Chase, you get 3% back on dining with fine dining or just going to Chipotle, right? Even fast food, you get 3% back. Drugstores, you get 3% back. You get 5% back if you purchase travel through their Chase travel portal. And then you get 1% back on everything else. With Chase, you get a $200 bonus after spending $500 in the first 3 months. And then you get 0% APR for the first 15 months. Family, I cannot stress this enough. If you haven't already gotten off the video, because I already warned you beforehand, look, do not use and abuse this 0% APR. Don't do it. If you got a big purchase, whatever, okay, cool. But make sure you can pay that amount off before the 15 months is up. Don't do it. Don't wait, because that's how they get you. A lot of people are responsible, but they're just waiting for that certain percentage of people that are like, hey, we racking it up. We got 3,000 credit limit. We going to keep going, keep going, keep going. And then next thing you know, before you know it, that 15 months is up. And now you have $3,000, $4,000, $10,000, $20,000 worth of credit card debt that you can't pay back because now the 25% interest done kicked in, and now you're just drowning in credit card debt. Just because, and that's why they do it like that. So you forget. You forget when that mug starts back up. Do not fall into that trap, family. Yes, it's great. Yes, it's cool, especially if you have a big purchase. But don't fall into that trap of, hey, cool, I could just spend all this money for 15 months and not have to pay it back at all. Don't do it, because they're going to hit you with interest and they're going to hit you hard. And it's going to be very hard to dig yourself out of that hole once you get in. With this card, I started with $3,700, and now currently I'm at $7,400 credit limit. Next up is the Citi Custom Cash. Now with the Citi, I like this card. I really like this card. On the side of me, once again, I'm going to show you the categories, the top categories. But before we get into that, you get $2,000 after, or you get 2,000 points. You get 20,000 points. I'm pretty sure it's 20,000 points after spending $1,500 in the first 6 months. So that comes out to around $200. And so that's a great bonus. You get 5% back on the top eligible spend categories up to $500. So they'll give you $500 back every single month, up to $500 back every single month on your top spending category. They're going to be right here, so you know what they are. I'm not going to list them out, but we're talking about entertainment, we're talking about food, dining, we're talking about gas, so on and so forth. But this is where you get to pick what you want your 5% cash back to be. You're not dependent on Chase or you're not dependent on Discover to tell you what your 5% category is going to be. Every single month, you get to choose what your top 5% category is. Everything else you spend on in other categories results in 1% back. So you're still getting money back. But everything else is going to be 1%. And also, they're offering 4% additional cash back for spending money on hotels and car rentals and travel and all that good stuff booked through the Citi travel portal through June 30th, 2025. And so that's a benefit that you can take advantage of this year if you plan on traveling and all that good stuff. You can now get an additional 4% back on your travel if you book through their portal. They are the same way as Chase. You can redeem any type of way. You redeem as cash back in your bank account. You can redeem as a statement or, any other way or through their travel portal. And so I like that flexibility. But the last card. Oh, my bad. I started with 6,700 and I'm still at 6,700 as a credit limit, and I got that card in December 2021. And then the last card is Penfed. No, I got this card November 2022. I started with 9,000, and I still have 9,000 as a credit limit with this card. And so understand, back in 2022, that's when I was up about 30,000 a year. And so to have a $9,000 credit limit in 2022 is that's crazy work. That's way too much money for making 30,000 a year, in my opinion. But that's what they gave me. I was cool with it. I already established credit. I already had 3 credit cards. I already had all these student loan, and so I was good paying stuff off on time. And so I assume that's why they gave me that big credit limit. Understand, with Penfed, they give you 5% back on gas. They give you or EV charging. They give you 3% back at supermarkets and restaurants, and then they give you 1% back on everything else. Understand, you get 15% or 15,000 points when you spend $1,500 within the first 3 months. And with this card, you can only redeem for gift cards, travel, or through their shopping portal, which includes their Apple shopping portal. So you could shop Apple products, or you could shop, random items. I really don't like their shopping portal. It's not that good to me. But you can use it for travel or gift cards. And so that's the only thing I don't like about this card is you can't redeem it for statement credits. You can't redeem it for just cash in your bank account. But I use it for my fuel. And so understand, why did I pick these cards? Because I wanted cash back, ideally 5% cash back on everything I spend money on a day-to-day basis. What do you spend majority or not majority of your money on, but what are you going to spend money on every single month? Gas. If you have a car, right? You're going to spend money on gas. So get you a card that gives you 5% back on gas. That is Penfed. Sometimes it can be Citi. If you make that your top spending category, it could be Chase every once in a while if it's within that quarterly category, as well as Discover. And so understand, I have a card for gas. Where do I also spend a lot of money on? Groceries. So I have a card for that. Penfed, 3% back at supermarket. So every time I go to the supermarket, I'm getting 3% back. Citi, I can do the same thing, right? And so understand, I'm basically just figuring out, okay, where do I spend most of my money every single month? Or where do I consistently spend money at? And how can I get the most money back from those categories? That's why I picked these cards. So Penfed, 90% of the time, I'm using it at Walmart, and I'm also using it at the gas pump. And you can also use it inside. So I like QT's little kitchen. And so I go there every once in a while to get food because it's the closest place to my job. And so I use it there. So now I'm getting 5% back on food when I use it at QT. Citi, this is a wild card. So if I'm going to a concert, boom, I use it there, and then I don't use that card for anything else because I don't want any other category to exceed the amount I paid for that concert. So now everything I spend on that concert, I get 5% back. Everything I spend on food for a month, I get 5% back. Every dime I spent on transportation, I get 5% back. And so that's my wild card, right? And then Chase, 5% back each quarter. So depending on the quarter will determine how I use that card. Most of the time I use it for dining because it's 3% back. Or if I'm traveling, then I'll look. Sometimes their travel prices aren't the best, and so I'd rather get the best prices then get 5% back, because that 5% back isn't going to cover the price difference 90% of the time. And then the Discover It, same exact thing. Depending on what quarter it is, depending on what they're offering, that quarter will determine how I use that card. And so, and then they do Amazon all the time. Every year is at least one quarter they'll have Amazon on there for Chase or Discover. And so, I'm big on Amazon, and so I'll use my money, or I'll use one of those credit cards for that. And so that's why I use the credit cards, is one, to build my credit, two, to get the most money back from money I'm already spending. And then initially initially it was to get the biggest credit limits possible. And so my mindset initially was, how do I get the most credit, most credit possible? How do I get the biggest limits? How do I get them to give me 10,000, 20,000, 30,000? Now, as you can see by these credit limit increases, I don't care. Like I said, I got these cars when I was making 30,000 before I started working full time, and I still haven't even updated my income for, I think, any of them. And and so I could get a lot more today, right? Just by asking and updating my income. But I don't, because why would I need more than $9,000 right now? Right? Why would I need more than $9,000 in one month when I don't even make $9,000 in one month, right? It doesn't make sense to spend that type of money on it doesn't make sense to get that type of credit limit when I'm not even getting anywhere close to spending that much, right? And so that's one thing that's changed my, perspective on credit cards. It's like, bro, like, get your cash back, use it how you normally use it. Don't use it abnormally. Get your cash back, and then go from there, right? Get your cash back. I personally use it for gifts at the end of the year. That's what I tell everybody. I use it for gifts. With my Penfed, I use it specifically for travel, because that's really all I can use those points for. And I keep it pushing. But I'm not looking to get the biggest limits now. I'm not looking to flex that. I'm not, oh, look at me with my $10,000 credit. Like, no, it's dumb now. Looking back, it was the stupidest mindset to possibly have. But that's the mindset I have, and I'm glad I don't have that mindset anymore. How did I build my credit fast? So I kind of hinted at this at the very beginning when I was talking about my Discover It. I kept my I kept my spending below 3%. And so one way you could do this is the way I did it: buy one meal or buy one drink or whatever the case may be, wait until the statement closes, and then they report to the credit bureaus, hey, he only spent, 1, 2, 3% of his credit limit. Or what you could do is spend, and then 5 days before, you pay that down to 5%. And then once the statement closes, they're going to report that 5%. They're not going to report everything else to the credit bureaus. All that stuff is still going to show up in your statements. Don't get it misconstrued. It's still going to show up in your statements. You still got to pay for it. But the credit bureaus are only going to see that you only use 3% or 2% or whatever the case may be of that credit limit or credit utilization. And so keep your credit utilization below 3%. They say 30%, don't do that. I mean, you can. That's up to you. Do what you want. But if you want to grow it fast, I went from like 700, now I'm at 793 with Experian. And so like I'm knocking on the door of the 800s within 4 years, family. Literally within 4 years. And that was just a matter of paying everything off on time, not, no late payment. Look, my credit profile is clean as a whistle, family. Not a single late payment. And that's just me being diligent, me turning on notifications, me making sure, turning on alerts, all these good things to make sure that I'm staying on top of every single payment. So if got your mind going 5, 10 different ways, maybe you shouldn't have 4 credit cards. Maybe you should stick to one. That way you can stay on track of paying off that credit card, because it's real easy. It's very easy to lose track and forget that a payment's due or whatever the case may be. That's why you want to turn on auto payments, pay in full, not minimum payment, pay in full a couple days before the due date. That way you never miss a payment. You never have to worry about missing a payment. And you shouldn't even have to worry about overdrafting your account because you shouldn't be spending money you don't have. I'm gonna let that simmer. I'm gonna let that simmer. I'm gonna let that simmer for a little bit. Don't get your feelings hurt. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just saying, don't do that now. And so that's really it. That's all I got for y'all, family. The 4 credit cards, the Discover It, Chase, Citi, and then Penfed. Those are the 4 credit cards I have. I'm going to leave links to them. They're going to be affiliates, so if you want to help your boy out, I got, what I'm saying, go and click the link, go and sign up if you're ready for another card. You feel me? But I'm gonna leave links to them. Like I said, I'm gonna have stuff on the screen for you guys so you guys can get more information for stuff I didn't cover. But do your research on these cards, family. Don't just go in blindly. Don't see the 100% back within a year with the Discover and say, oh yeah, let me get that card. And, for whatever reason, you really don't need that card, right? Don't do it just for the bonus. Don't do that. Do it because you're responsible. Do it because you're trying to build credit. It's not the only way to build credit, but you want to build credit, or do it because you want to get some cash back for the free ski, right? But you're responsible. I'm gonna keep reiterating because you are responsible. So all these cards are zero annual fee cards, so you don't have to worry about paying an annual fee for any of these. Some of these may have fees. Do your own research for that. I ain't go through that in this video, but like I said, do your research and make sure you know what you're getting yourself into before you get any of these cards, because I don't want you guys to go in, get this card next month, and then 15 months later, you talking about, hey, I'm $20,000 in debt, and this 23% interest rate just kicked in, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't need any stories like that, family. Let's be responsible. Let's take care of business. If you guys are enjoying the episode, leave a 5-star review. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you don't like. Let me know what I can improve on. Let me know what you guys want to hear about next. Let me know any guests you guys want me to bring onto the podcast, and I'll do my best to get them on the podcast. Down in the description, there'll be a link to donate to the podcast on a monthly basis, $1, $5, $10 every single month. That's a Chipotle bowl, family. Give the brother, help a brother out special. I'd greatly appreciate it, and I will see y'all in the next episode. Peace.